Hey guys, looks like we're live. Oh, we sure are. I might have started a little too early. Counts down, but sometimes I can't really see it because I use like this really bright light behind the camera, so I look better. Okay, so let me just get this up on the old computer here so that I can see what's happening. Maybe, perhaps. Maybe I won't. Two shakes. Okay, so while this loads, Sunny here. So what typically happens, I have no idea why I said that because I don't know where I'm going with that. I can't do two things at once. Okay, so first, for those of you joining me and don't know who I am Sunny Brigham. I own Complete Health by Sunny Brigham, and I'm a clinical and integrative nutritionist. I hold a Master's of Science degree in clinical nutrition, and I'm a board-certified nutrition specialist. Basically, what that means is I know just enough to get me and you in trouble. No, really what it means is I have a very science-heavy background when it comes to nutrition, so I didn't take, like a correspondence course or something like that. I spent a long time, a lot of hours, getting my master's degree so that I could spread the love amongst my people. And I don't know why, you'll have to bear with me, this is not coming up on my Facebook page. Ooh, here it is. Yay, it came up. Okay. I'm a big believer that the camera adds 10 pounds. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Okay, so it looks like it's up. Let me just see if I can get these comments here. Okay, hey Jackie. Oh, I am live. Oh, excellent. Yes, it's working. It's working. Okay, so what we're going to talk about tonight is I am giving you all a sneak peek into the diet of mine. And I use the term diet loosely. I don't really follow anything, although sometimes I do. But for the most part, I don't really follow like a plan or what I should eat, what I shouldn't eat. I kind of listen to what I want at the time within reason. So I sometimes feel like people think that we as nutritionists are perfect. And we are certainly by no means anywhere near perfect. I include some treats in my diet from time to time. I sometimes completely derail for several days on end, and I have to kind of dig myself back out of a hole to where I'm eating a little bit better. So I wanted to kind of share my food log with you and highlight a couple of different things and leave it open to discussion as far as nutrient goes, calorie targets, those sorts of things. So I wrote a blog, came out yesterday. So if you haven't read the blog yet, what I'll do is I'll pin it. Let me see if I can pin it now. I will pin it to the Facebook video. Let's see. Well, I don't know if I can pin it, but it's in there. Can I pin it? No, I can't pin it. Oh, I can. I'm all over the place today. You guys will have to forgive me. Okay, so the blog is there. It's in the comments. If you wanted to open it up and follow along with me, that's perfectly okay. If you wanted to stand here and see me fidget with my hair and my shirt and everything else that I do and sweat buckets, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Okay, so food diaries, they're pretty important to me and what I do, but I don't like to get wrapped around the axle when it comes to food diaries. I like to see initially what my clients are doing. It's really good for me to see a couple of days worth of their food log, mainly because it just gives me an somewhat accurate depiction of how they're currently eating and what some things that we can do, because it's a little bit different when somebody says, yeah, I'm pretty sure that I get like 5 servings of vegetables, but then when I have them log their food and I ask them, are these 3 or 4 days pretty indicative of what you typically eat? And they're like, yeah, I think I logged pretty good. And then I see like maybe 1 or 2 servings of vegetables on there. It gives me a little bit perspective, not only what they're actually eating, but how they feel that they're eating versus what they're actually putting in their mouth. After that first initial session, I may or may not have somebody log. It's really dependent on the person. Some people really like to log religiously because they feel that it helps them stay on track. And if that's what they feel helps them keep on track, I am certainly not going to tell them, don't do that. As long as it doesn't become obsessive in a way, or they feel like their entire day is based around what they're logging in their food log. And then some people don't want to do it. They feel that it's a pain in the butt, it takes too much time, and they just don't like to do it. And that's okay. So for people that don't like to do it, I might go several months without taking a peek at their food log, but we might get to a point where they feel that they've stalled in their efforts, or maybe they feel that they're not doing as good as they could. And so I'll ask them to go in and log a couple of days so that I can take a peek at what's going on. Because then that helps me figure out, okay, where do we need to tweak things? Do we need to add in more vegetables? Maybe we need to cut back on the fruit a little bit. Are you actually eating whole grains, or are you eating refined grains? So it just gives me a little, idea as to what my clients are doing. But it's by no means something that everybody does all the time, 24/7 in my office. I don't like to live my life based around something that I have to enter into an app or a website, but that's just my personal take on it. Okay, so what I did was I actually went back and looked at one of my old logs, because I don't log every day, but sometimes I will log like a couple times in the week or maybe a couple times in the month, just to give myself a good idea of where I'm at. Am I kind of aligned with where I think that I am, and where I can make some improvements in. So let's kind of break it down. I put in some screenshots on the blog, and this is literally just screenshots from my food diary. And it's one day, and I want to say it's like March 8th or something like that. So it is in this month. And so I go through and I point out where I did good, where I probably didn't do so good, and where I should make my own improvements on, so that you guys can kind of see that I am by no means perfect, nor are any nutritionists perfect. And I also put it in here in the blog. So when you see the screenshots, I am a huge fan of chronometer or a chronometer, or people say it 100 different ways. It's basically common spelling of chronometer without the H. It's CRONOMETER.com. The website is free. If you want to download the app, you can. I think there's like a $1.99 fee for that. I try to get my clients to use Chronometer because it gives a full snapshot of all the nutrients, whereas some of the other food logging apps kind of fail on that point. Their main focus is on macronutrients, which is your carbohydrates, your fats, and your proteins. And I also like to think water is a macronutrient because we absolutely need it. But they kind of fall short on the micronutrient aspect of it, whereas Chronometer doesn't. I really feel that it gives a good snapshot of where our micronutrients are coming from and our minerals, and where we can kind of improve upon that. So when you see the snapshots in the blog, those are all from Chronometer because I love that app or website. Okay, so if I can read this, when I went through, basically, so I am a creature of habit, like no kidding, I am a massive creature of habit, and I know that all humans are, but I'm like borderline OCD creature of habit. Typically my breakfast is a 1/4 cup of dried oats, and then I will put 1/2 cup of water in it, cook it in the microwave, and then I sprinkle some raisins on top, and then I drizzle it with peanut butter, mix it around, and I eat that. The reason that I stick to a 1/4 cup is because I have a really hard time eating large volumes of food unless I am absolutely starved and I eat super, super fast, which is really not good for you. So I have a hard time eating large volumes, so I tend to stick to smaller. If I made like 1/2 cup of oats or an entire cup of oats, there's no way I would be able to eat that whole thing, so it would just be a waste. So that's typically what my breakfast is, along with 2-ish cups of black coffee. And I say ish because a cup to me is like 10 ounces, but depending on the day of the week and how I feel, I may or may not have more than 2 cups of coffee. I think there was one day last week where, no kidding, I think I drank an entire pot on my own. I don't recommend that. Okay, so for lunch, because I'm kind of in and out, I'm on the go quite a bit, I like things that are quick and easy and very nutrient dense, although they may not taste very good. So for me, lunch is typically a super fast smoothie unless I have time to sit down. And my husband laughs at me when I drink it because I'm not kidding, I chug it, it's really gross. It is typically 8 ounces of unsweetened almond milk, and then I put an additional 2 ounces of water in there just to thin it out because it makes it easier for me to drink it. And then I will put 2 tablespoons of ground flax, usually 2.5 tablespoons of cacao powder. I will put some protein powder, whatever I happen to be using. Right now I have naked brown rice protein powder. And then I will put, what else do I put in there? I have like a dehydrated calcium supplement. It's like a scoop of dehydrated greens all ground up so I can get more calcium. And then I put a teaspoon of concentrated mineral drops in there because I have a hard time getting potassium and phosphorus and a couple of other minerals. So I put a teaspoon of concentrated drops in there, which tastes like well water on steroids if you ever had well water. And then I put usually 2, probably closer to 3 cups of spinach in there, and so I kind of jam all that in there, I blend it up, and then I drink it. And so it ends up being about 350-ish calories, but that's typically what my lunch is. And then I will have a snack, and that snack is, and then I usually have 2 Brazil nuts after that. And I do Brazil nuts for selenium, which helps thyroid production, healthy thyroid. And then selenium is also a precursor to glutathione, which is an antioxidant that our own body produces. It's really good to combat oxidative stress, and it helps liver production, and it really helps with digestive health as well. So 2 Brazil nuts for selenium every day. And there is plenty of selenium in just 2 Brazil nuts. I'm not the biggest fan of them, but so I can handle 2 a day, it's fine. And then dinner sometimes varies, sometimes it doesn't. I'm on a kick right now where I make like a sheet pan of just a bunch of vegetables kind of put on there. I drizzle it with olive oil, salt and pepper, and then maybe some sliced garlic, mix it around, put it in the oven at 350 degrees for like 25-30-ish minutes. At the same time, I will take a block of super firm tofu, slice it up, drizzle some balsamic on it, stick it in the oven, and bake that at the same time. And so my dinner is literally like 1/2 to 3/4 of vegetables with some protein in there. And then my evening snack is usually a bowl of grapes, which I was curious to see how much grapes, because I don't really measure it out, but I was curious to see how much I'm actually eating. And so I eat about a cup of grapes because I just eyeball it knowing what I can actually eat in one setting. So I'll take some grapes, clean them off, and then I drizzle those with peanut butter as well. So that's kind of what I eat in a day most days. And when I log it in, and you'll be able to see in here, so it actually, I am an Apple nut, so I have an Apple Watch, and Chronometer actually interfaces with Apple Health. And so any workout that I do, anything like that, it'll sync with it, so it'll tell me how many calories I burned, those sorts of things, which takes into account the calories that I'm consuming. Let's see. Okay, so the good thing about Chronometer is it goes through and it gives you your targets. It tells you where you're at as far as calories, protein, fats, carbs, if you hit like your fiber mark, if you hit enough iron, all of your vitamins, minerals. So when I put it in the log and I put it in the blog, I left the food log without any of my supplements in there. And I did that for a reason. So when I tell you what I eat in a day, which is oatmeal for breakfast, I have a smoothie for lunch with no fruit in it, and then I have tofu and vegetables out the wazoo for dinner, and then I have nuts for a snack, and I've got, sometimes I'll have cauliflower or broccoli or carrot sticks with hummus for a snack, which I think I did on that day, and then I have grapes and things like that. So all of those great vegetables and fruits and healthy proteins and whole grains that I'm eating. And I get about, there's probably 6 servings of vegetables on the day that I logged, which is pretty average for me. If you look at the blog, you'll actually see that I really missed the mark on a lot of my nutrients. So I did not get, and I'm just going to read this off to you. So all of my B vitamins, so you're talking B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B12, and folate, I did not get the minimum needed that day, which since I eat this way most days, that's an indication that I don't really get enough B vitamins anyway. I did okay with vitamin A, vitamin C. I got almost no vitamin D. E and K, I did okay. And then when you look at my minerals, I didn't hit the mark with calcium or copper. I did with iron, magnesium, and manganese. Phosphorus, potassium, selenium, and zinc, I also did not meet the mark. And the reason that I pointed that out is because I think it's important for people to know. I get a lot of people that say, well, I don't take a multivitamin because I eat a pretty healthy diet. I eat 6 servings of vegetables a day. I eat whole grains. I eat plenty of nuts and nut butters, healthy fats. I have very limited fruit. And I still don't get enough nutrients through my diet to fill the gap of where I need. I am a huge fan that most people should be taking a multivitamin mineral supplement in their daily diet. There are differences in good quality and bad quality, but if you're not eating 7 to 9 servings of vegetables a day, if you're not eating 2 to 3 servings of fruit, if you're not eating 2 to 4 servings of whole grains, healthy proteins, lean meats, lots of nuts, those sorts of things, you are also not meeting the mark when it comes to the nutrients that you need in your diet. So bear that in mind as you're eating and you think, well, I don't need a multivitamin. 99.99% of people on planet Earth need a multivitamin in their life. So if you're not taking one, I would highly recommend that you go out and you get a good quality multivitamin. Let's see. So when I put all of my supplements in there, so what I take, and I think I put it on the blog here for you. Yeah. Oh, so I went through the macronutrients too for the blog. So carbs I did really good. I didn't have too much, didn't have too little. Sometimes as vegans or plant-based people will have a lot of carbs. I'm talking like 3, close to 400 grams of carbs. And there are days where I have that much. I think on this day I had like 160 or 170, which is pretty average for me. Fiber on point, I got 35 grams of fiber that day, which is amazing. Sugar, I put I'm not worried about it that day because the only added sugar I had that day was I do typically consume 2 small squares of 88% dark chocolate. I'll have one after lunch and one after dinner. Fats, I did great with the omega-3s, but I really fell short on the omega-6s. And you really want to have enough omega-6s because you're talking brain health, eye health, heart health. And omega-3s get you there, but you also need omega-6s as well. You just want to keep those in balance. So I could probably get a little more omega-6 in my life, which would be good for me. Vitamin D, so I fell short on that as well. We only get vitamin D from 2 places. I think a lot of people really don't think about vitamin D. You only get it from 2 places. You get it from the sun and you get it from a supplement. You can get it from fortified milks, including fortified nut milks. You can get it from mushrooms, but you're not going to get the amount that you absolutely need. And so in order to get it from the sun, you need to be in the sun for 15 to 30 minutes between the hours of 10 and 2 with no sunscreen and 75% of your body exposed. So not something that people can typically get in 3 times a week. And that's for people in like warmer climates. I'm getting a note here. I know that I have questions. I'm going to get them at the end, buddy. I've got a note passed to me. I know why you couldn't just say, hey, you have questions, you have questions.
I'm trying to help, bro.
People know you're over there. He's hobbling around. He had surgery this morning, so he's hobbling around in a nifty little walking boot. It's pretty nice.
I need ice cream.
He does not need ice cream. Trust me. Okay, and so I know I have questions. I'm going to look over those in just a moment. It also goes through and it shows the protein. It shows 9 essential amino acids. There are 20 sometimes people will say 22 amino acids that make up proteins. 9 of those are essential, which means that you cannot make those on your own. You have to consume those through food. Back to vitamin D. What I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted with my note is that, so aside from the multivitamin, I'm a big fan that most people should be on a vitamin D supplement as well. Vitamin D is huge as far as fatigue goes. Some people will say, I don't take a vitamin D supplement, but I don't know why I'm so tired, and they'll go to their physician and they'll get a vitamin D serum test and find that they are severely depleted in vitamin D. They start taking a supplement and notice that they start feeling a little bit better. So vitamin D supplement is very important. Oh, and then my supplements. So aside from a multivitamin and aside from a vitamin D supplement, I take a teaspoon of concentrates. I put that in my smoothie like I told you guys. I also take a 1/4 teaspoon of a vitamin C powder. It equates to about 1,000 milligrams a day. I just try not to take in too many capsules. Obviously, it's for immune health, boosting antioxidant, helps to fight oxidative stress in the body. And then I take 15 milligrams of zinc. I don't recommend that people take a lot of zinc because zinc and copper fight for absorption in the body. And if you're taking a lot of zinc, you're going to deplete your body of too much copper, which we actually do need a little bit of. But I have an issue where my liver actually holds on to excess copper, and so it just kind of, it's like a, what are those, hamsters or gerbils, where they just kind of like pack their cheeks, or squirrels, they just kind of pack their cheeks full of like nuts and foods and berries.
Like a toddler.
Yeah, like a toddler, yeah. Or what's that game, Chubby Bunny, where you push the marshmallows in your mouth? So my liver does that with copper. So I actually have to take a daily low-dose zinc supplement to flush the excess copper out of my body and keep my zinc kind of replenished where it should be. And it took me a long time to figure out that was part of my problem with my body and how it was operating. It was actually a fellow nutritionist that pointed that out to me. And because of the excess copper issue, I also take some liver supportive supplements that just kind of help my liver detoxify itself every day. And then, like I said, I take the powdered green supplement. It's actually right here. I'll show you what I take. This is my powdered calcium. It's by Vibrant Health. And all it is a bunch of dehydrated greens ground up. It's certainly not tasty by any means, but it gets, 1 scoop gets you 627 milligrams of calcium, which is really good. Calcium is kind of one of those underrated nutrients. I feel like a lot of people don't get enough of it. After the age of 30, we don't create any more new bone. None, zero, nothing. We don't create any new bone. And so you need calcium for all of your muscle contraction and relaxation. So every time your heart beats, every time you walk, you exercise, your calcium gets used. If you're not taking in enough through your diet, your body says, okay, well, I need calcium from somewhere. Where am I going to get it from? Oh, we've got these giant hard things running through our entire body that's just filled with it. Let's just pull it from there. And so as time goes on and we continue to leach calcium from our bones to feed the muscles and the heart and all that good stuff, we end up older with osteopenia and osteoporosis and a lack of calcium in the bones, and we end up fracturing our hips and our knees and our femurs and all those good things that we don't want to fracture. So calcium, make sure that you're getting enough each day. Let's see. Okay, so like the 3 things that I just pointed out is nutritionists aren't perfect. We are not perfect. We don't consume a perfect diet. We have the exact same struggles that you guys do. So when I have clients in my office and they're telling me like, I'm really tired of this food, or I'm really tired, or I can't cook enough, or I don't have enough time for this, or I don't like this, or how am I going to, make this better? Shh. We get it. We understand because we are right there with you. We're not perfect. We go through the same struggles that you guys do. The only difference between you and I is that, like I said before, I have just enough knowledge to make me dangerous. And then even great diets lack certain nutrients, so you need vitamins to fill those gaps. Okay, Well, let me see what questions that I have. Okay, so join. Hello. Oh, Jackie loves Chronometer. Me too. It's great. Yeah, I just do 2 Brazil nuts. I only do 2 because I'm doing them for selenium. And 1 has almost enough selenium, so I just do 2. Some people will do 3. Some people I recommend do 3 to 4 Brazil nuts. I only need 2, and that's enough to get me going. If I was chronically ill, had thyroid issues, anything like that, I would probably add a little bit more Brazil nut to my life to get a little bit more supplements. So you are asking, Chris, multivitamin, question mark, are you asking for like recommendations for specific multivitamins? If that's the case, I usually recommend like a food grade. Different people will require different supplements. So there's one that you can buy at the store. It's called Mega Food. You can get it at most health food stores. If you have a Whole Foods, Sprout, Natural Grocers, anything like that around you, it's a good one. It's made out of food, and it's a food-based supplement, so it absorbs much better in your body than a synthetic one will. But that's usually a good one for people to take. There's a kitty cat in our yard. Our doggy doesn't like kitty cat. So is that green supplement, are you talking about the calcium supplement? Is that a veggie replacer? No. I don't typically tell people to count any type of powdered supplement as a veggie replacer. So I wouldn't say just because you put a scoop of calcium greens in your smoothie, you no longer need to add spinach or kale or anything like that to your smoothie. I wouldn't rely on those as replacers. I would rely on those as boosters. If you think about the word supplement, so supplement means you are supplementing something, right? We're not replacing things with vitamins and minerals. We're supplementing our diet with vitamins and minerals. And so we want to supplement our smoothie with the greens, or we want to add, extra kale or extra spinach on top of that, but we don't want to count it as a nutrient. Let me get down here. Let's see what other questions I got. So I also had a question about, CLA, so conjugated linolenic acid. They're fatty acids. I don't think that people need to go off and take a CLA supplement. I'm a huge fan of getting most of your nutrients through food, so as long as you're eating, for somebody that would want to take a CLA supplement, as long as you're eating clean, healthy, lean meats, limited portions throughout the day, not too much protein, and you don't have any digestive disorders, you're going to be able to produce as much as you need in your body from what you're eating. I'm not a fan of taking supplements that you absolutely don't have to take, because these little capsules, they take a toll on the body. They're hard for the digestive tract to break down. If you're taking a lot of supplements throughout the day, you're taking up room in your stomach that should be used for things like vegetables and whole grains and proteins and nuts and seeds and berries and those sort of things. So I'm not a fan of taking a bunch of supplements just to take supplements. I do have clients that have a lot of supplements because they have a lot of things that we're trying to fix. But if we can take them off, I certainly do. And then most of the capsules will have something called magnesium stearate in it. It can cause some digestive distress in the body. So if you're taking a lot of supplements, you're taking a lot of magnesium stearate, and that's something that we don't want to happen. So I don't really think that most people need a CLA supplement. A lot of these supplements that you find at touted on bodybuilding.com or at GNC, a lot of them are just things that we don't necessarily need in our body. I guarantee that if you did not take a CLA supplement, you probably wouldn't notice a difference. But you possibly could, who knows? Okay, so I don't see Any other questions? Let's see. Did I get all the questions? Was that all of them?
I think so.
Sweet. Excellent. Okay. So your takeaways for tonight are nutritionists aren't perfect. We struggle with our diet just like everybody else. Supplements are meant to supplement, not replace in your diet. Most people do need a multivitamin and a vitamin D supplement. If you live, especially if you live in the north, if you live past like the 37th parallel, which is, don't quote me, but it's pretty far south, you're definitely going to need a vitamin D supplement all year round. For me, I tend to stop in the summertime because I do get out in the sun quite a bit. But once I'm not really in the sun, or if I go a couple of weeks where I'm not in the sun enough, I will start supplementing again. For people that live in the north, need to supplement year round. So multivitamin, vitamin D, supplements are supplements, not replacers, and nutritionists are not perfect. And that's it. So I pinned the blog. I encourage you guys to read it if you're interested in it. There's also a vitamin D blog that I have out there that I wrote previously, and I linked it in that blog. If you're interested in Chronometer, like I said, it's free. It's completely free on the web. So if you go to chronometer.com, and it's spelled Chronometer without an H, you can sign up for a free account, and you can kind of get in there and see what your, if you want to log a day of what you eat and see what it's like. I think it might be a little eye-opening for most people to see when they think, oh, I eat a pretty healthy diet, and they go through and it's like meat, eggs, 1 serving of vegetables. That's not generally a very healthy diet. You want 7 to 9 servings of vegetables. Most people fall short on that. 2 to 3 servings of fruit at most. Lots of nuts, seeds, berries, clean, healthy protein, and then definitely pay attention to your micronutrients, your vitamins, and your minerals, and Chronometer. I got a new question. Yay! As long as it's not a hard one. I don't like hard questions. Is chicken a vegetable? Is that for you? No, chicken is not a vegetable. I'm so sorry. It's not a vegetable. You guys are most welcome. And if you have any questions after you're watching this later, please feel free to post them below. I will be more than happy to answer them. And next week, we're talking intermittent fasting. So if that's something that you are interested in learning about, join me next Tuesday night, and we will be talking intermittent fasting. If you have a topic that you would like to hear, learn, read a blog about, you can shoot me an email or shoot me a message, and I will load it in the queue. I've only got like 3 or 4 of them in the queue right now, so I will be able to get to it pretty soon. Is this you again with another chicken as a vegetable thing? Is tofu a vegetable? Tofu is a vegetable in my book. It is. Actually, it's made from soybean, so if you want to get technical, soybean is like a legume, so it falls in the same family as peanuts, black beans, and lentils and things of that nature. But I am a huge fan of the tofu. And Matt is not hilarious. Please do not feed into that man's ego. He does not need that. All right, guys. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.